Spacebar command. Interesting. Yo boys, FaZe Doritos here. Decided to do a video today on a VOD submitted review from one of my viewers talking about playing Rogue-warlock Shaman into Shadow Priest Assassination Rogue Evoker. What he could do better, what his team could do better, and let's watch it. So first of all, we see our lock fully dotting the priest. I think you should UA first, because if Rogue opens on you with Garrote, he's not going to be able to kidney shot your Rogue without your Rogue stopping him, because it's going to take one global to Garrote, another global to step, or walking over is going to take some time too. So your Rogue's going to be able to evasion the kidney shot if he does decide to send it on you like that. By the way guys, this is a more advanced video, so if you're a warlock who's a little bit more beginner and basic, this is probably not the video for you, but if you're still interested, you can go ahead and watch. Just be warned, there's going to be a lot of PvP jargon that you're not going to understand, so heads up. So right now, the goal for RLS, at least at this point in time, is for the Rogue to send a kidney shot on the priest because he's already been taken out of stealth. He already sent the blind, so there's no other choice but to send. If we could rewind this, the best thing that you guys could do is have the Rogue sit in stealth until the other Rogue opens on you, so your Rogue has the heads up and he could always mark for death kidney on the Rogue in the opener and then get Garrote on everything else. That's usually how you play this comp. So let's see what happens here. You fear, you get full dots. I like how you get your agony, your UA, agony, and then your corruption. That's how you're supposed to dot things. You never want to do like 2 globals with agony, corruption, then UA. Takes 3 globals that way instead of taking the UA and using the UA global to use the corruption or agony, so you only have to use 1 more global. So to do your damage, that's the most efficient way. Also, when you went ahead and kidney shotted, let's see what you did here in the opener. Honestly, a lot of the things here is going to be critique on your Rogue and less on you, because when you're playing Rogue-warlock, I swear a lot of what happens in the game is deterministic on the Rogue doing proper kidney shots and not really deterministic on what you do. As a warlock, your job in this comp is a little bit simpler than you may think it is. Like, your job is to be a support for the Rogue. The Rogue is supposed to be the leader. He calls the shots, he sends the kidney shot, he, organizes the go. Your job as the warlock is to get dot damage on whatever he kidney shots and cross CC on whatever is not in CC. That's your job as a warlock. It doesn't matter that if you're UA, if you're demo lock, or if you're destro, that's always going to be your job before it is doing damage. So the first thing that I could see here after saying that is the usage of vanish because you got knocked out of stealth. As a rogue player in this comp, you should be very reserved on any CC or any cooldown based utility ability in the opener before Rogue opens, because if the Rogue opens on you, you're gonna have to trinket, and now you don't have blind, you don't have vanish, and you don't have trinket. So those are 3 buttons. Let's say if the Rogue decided to open you and you didn't press anything, you were in the root, you couldn't connect to the priest, you couldn't connect to the healer, so you just sat the root and waited for the Rogue to open. Let's say you did that instead. What would happen? So at worst, you would trinket, so that's 1 button, and then you would press vanish, so that's 2 buttons. So instead of using 3 buttons including blind, you would just have to vanish. Or if you were not dying but you wanted to send a go, you could trinket for number 1, you could mark for death, kidney shot on the Rogue, and guess what? You save vanish, you save blind. Now on the next go, you're going to have blind, you're going to have vanish to be able to use it for utility to cross CC, or you can use the vanish defensively on their next go. You see what I'm saying, guys? The job of the Rogue is to conserve all of your utility until you absolutely need to use it, or if you need to set up a go. Because at the end of the day, Rogue-warlock is a setup comp, and it's not a comp where you're doing insane dampening pressure, and there's no way in hell within a UA lock you're going to win in the opener anyway. So do not think that you're going to play the game to win early, because at the end of the day, you're not winning the game early with UA lock. You just don't do the damage to do it. So you need to be playing the game safe and trying to win the game a little bit later than sooner. See what happens. Rogue. So look, as I told you, remember I said about the other rogue, if your rogue decided to do something like that, how it would take like a long time for this rogue to get back to get the kidney shot on the rogue? Here's a prime example. This rogue opens on you with Garrote, right? Now look, instead of stepping back, he walks all the way back over to get the kidney shot on the rogue. What does our rogue have? He has evasion. He could have pre-evasion this kidney shot, right? And then this rogue gets full CC'd. Then your rogue is able to do damage to this priest without any interruption, and you guys are safe. This is why opening with Garrote over Mark for Death Kidney on your kill target is always a bad move. Unless it's double caster and you could Garrote 2 targets and both of them are in CC, this will always be a bad play, right? And just because your rogue didn't use evasion here doesn't make this a good play. This guy doing this should never happen, right? Your rogue should have pre-evasion this, and this should have never happened. So this is another situation where I believe your rogue, if he had a little bit more understanding of what's going on, he could have pre-evasioned, you know, not talking shit, but literally like this is going to help your rogue and your shaman and you play so much better. Because once you realize that you guys could play as a team and coordinate defensive cooldowns together, learn how to outplay other classes that are the same class as you, meaning class envy, you could just win so much more games. So let's see what happens here. So we press fear. He already disarmed. You don't really need to press fear here. The thing is, what a lot of people like to do is they don't really realize that there's different forms of CC. Like, you see it happen, but you don't understand how good it is. Disarm, he can't do any damage to whoever he's hitting when he's disarmed. So that's for one. There's no point in pressing fear when there's already a disarm on him. Like, sure, he could press kidney shot and stuff like that, but realistically, what is he going to do in a kidney shot where he's disarmed? What is he going to do with a Garrote when he's disarmed? He's not going to do any damage, so you don't have to worry about what he uses on your teammates when he's already disarmed. So instead of pressing fear here when there's already a disarm, just use that global to get full dots on that rogue, get full dots on the priest, and try to send the next kidney shot with any dot damage that you have on any target, with any cross CC you can get on either the off target, so let's say you're hitting rogue and then you CC priest, or on the healer, so let's say you kidney shot rogue and you CC healer. Those are the two main ways that you want to like set up a go and do damage in a go. Those are the most important things that you could do. And your rogue needs to be more talkative about like how he's sending his next kidney shot, when he's sending his next kidney shot. He should be like, okay, in 5 to 10 seconds, I'm sending kidney shot on the rogue. You know, less focused on split-second decisions, pressing buttons reactively, and more focused on pressing them proactively. Because, like, honestly, if your rogue said, yo, I'm going to kidney shot the priest or the rogue in 5 seconds, your games would go so much more smooth because you could easily set up off those kidney shots if you had some time to, like, think about what's going on. So, scripting your gameplay, chat. Scripting it. Making sure you have a script, you stick to the script, and everybody is playing in the same pattern as a team. So we get dots off that fear. Not bad. Let's see what happens here. Weakness. Okay, we're getting dots again. Nice, we fear. We full dot again. I like that you're pressing fear though. It's good to know that you're pressing fear. Instead of like reapplying UA, it would have been better to corruption. Walk forward, press fear. Because you using agony, like you refresh your UA on the target who already had UA, which kind of puts you a little bit behind. Because let's say that you use that global to walk forward here. Because look, let's backtrack one more second here. We press fear. Okay, so your shaman knows next kidney's on the rogue here. Well, he doesn't know, but he's pressing hex, right? So kidney shot lands. He's already pressed the hex. You know what you need to be thinking here? You need to be thinking, I need to walk forward and get ready to press fear on that healer. You have no idea if he's going to trinket or not, but it's fine. If you walk forward and start pressing the fear, what's going to happen? He's going to be in a long CC chain, and you're going to be ready to just destroy this rogue. Let's see what we do. We cast Fear, but it's already too late because he trinketed, right? And he had that second. He had that second to get it. And our positioning is kind of not in a good spot to be able to get a re. You want to be in a spot where it's a lot easier to get a re and you're not in between the rogue and the priest. You want to be in front of the priest and the rogue so it's easier for you to get Fear again. We're rapturing. Instead of pressing Rapture, it's better to get full dots on your kill target and full dots on your off target and then CC. Remember, you want to get your dot damage up and then you start pressing Rapture. Rapture is the button you press after you've already finished doing dots. Like when dots are over, that's when you press Rapture. You don't press Rapture before you get dots because it's not going to do any damage. Feared into Kinney. So they're going you despite your rogue having no CD. This is really good for you. In this situation, your shaman was like kind of, he didn't really know if he wanted to press trinket. He was like, you know, I don't know if I should trinket this. That's not comms that you need to hear. Your shaman needs to be more like, I see Deathmark and Shiv, you need to press wall. You guys need to be on the same level like that. Or you need to be like, I see Deathmark and Shiv, I see that I'm in trouble, I'm going to port. If connect, I'm going to wall. Like, you need to be like that fast because Deathmark kills you like that. It doesn't matter how good the player is. If they get Deathmark and Shiv on you, you're dying through every CD if you press it low. So remember, when you see big CDs like this, you need to not be scared to press them. You should not greed your wall. You should press your wall because if you die from like a 20% wall, that's like a shitty situation to be in. Nobody wants to lose a game when they already pop CDs. So let's see what happens here. Rogue steps. You fear. Mind games lands. Your healer's still in CC. You should have already pressed wall. You're already starting to get way too low. You're getting way too low to wall. Like your wall is going to have less and less of an effect if you wall at this percentage. Okay. So you're 22%. Your healer's going to have to trinket the next CC to keep you alive. You do have Healthstone, but you do have Wound Poison, and there is 10% dampening, and Deathmark is still on you. So you're still really scared. Your Healthstone's not going to do a lot. Your healer's probably going to have to run at you to like Spirit Link or something. This is going to be a very bad situation to be in, and it's all because we didn't wall higher. So the moral of the story is when Rogue pops big cooldowns, or when anybody pops big cooldowns on you, the most important thing that you need to be doing is pressing cooldowns preemptively instead of exactly like when you're dropping low. Like if you're reacting to cooldowns and you're 22% HP, it's already over. You've already lost the game, bro. Like there's no coming back from here. It's all over. Okay, there's the link, just like we thought. Okay, so your rogue is reactively again calling for the swap on the healer. This is again what I was telling you guys about reactive versus proactive. You guys need to be, before the go even happens, before the kidney shot is available, your rogue needs to be like, in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to kidney shot the healer. And if you want to explain and elaborate on why you're doing it, that's fine too. You could be like, healer, no trinket, no emerald communion, he dies next kidney. So now your warlock is in a position of where I need to make sure this rogue gets uptime on this healer because we win the game here. So what do you do in that situation? You get ready to press fear on the rogue, so the next kidney on the healer is going to win the game. So we fear the priest. We get kicked. Try to get fear again. So our kidney shot didn't win the game there, but let's see what happens. Still doing damage. We're in a kidney shot. Getting UA. We got full UA and everything, so next kidney is going to be very big trouble for this guy.
Oh, I got kicked.
So let's see what happens. You soul rot. I do like soul rotting like that. There are games where I have to soul rot, and I have to use it exactly the way that you used it here. Where it's like, to elaborate, when I say exactly the way that I use it here, is I'm saying some games I don't have any dots on a target, and I'll just press soul rot, and I'll just drain life. because you're low HP, you need to survive. And you always want to prioritize living over doing damage. Surviving is your most important, like, option in most situations. So Kenny lands on the healer. So, like, you kind of win the game here. They have no buttons. So the most important thing that you should be doing here is realizing that this guy dies here, and you want to do whatever you can to make sure this guy dies. So that means either CCing this priest or CCing the rogue, and yeah, then you just win. But to backtrack a little bit, right? Let's talk about this Kenny here. We should have already had dots rolling on everything. And one of the biggest takeaways about playing Rogue-warlock is you want to hit the DPS and you want to make swaps on healer with no trinket. So the second we got a trinket, wherever that may be, I think it was on the Hex when we were hitting Rogue and we got every button from the Rogue. So like here, people don't realize that you won the game so much sooner than you actually did. You could have won the game in the next kidney shot or the kidney shot after this one. So potentially you win the game in 2 kidney shots if you put kidney shots on good targets. And what are good targets to put kidney shot after you get the trinkets here? So look, Rogue is going to trinket here. Healer's going to trinket here as well. What do we do differently? So we think about our next kidney shot. The Rogue should have been like, next kidney on Rogue, we need cross CC on healer. If you wanted to play like that, that's the safe method. Get CC on healer, kill Rogue because Rogue has no buttons. The other method that you could do is, okay, next kidney shot on healer, can you get CC on Rogue? And that's the only thing that you guys needed to talk about there. And then after that, you just needed to survive to the next kidney shot, and then you win. You win right there. So like the kidney shot here. Wherever it comes, let's see. Let's see what then happens. So like you were not at all prepared for this kidney. This kidney you were not prepared for, right? This is where it's a synergy thing with your rogue. Your rogue needs to be more talkative about when he's gonna press buttons so you can be better prepared to like support him. And not to like rag on your rogue or anything like that, but this is something that you guys as a team need to work on if you do want to perform and be better off as a team. Anyways, boys, let's get back to the end here so we can talk about that again real quickly. So like the way that we need to do damage into this team to make sure this enemy rots is whenever he has kidney shot, after we get the CC, we need to be like pressing more buttons. We need to be doing more damage buttons with UA. When the rogue is not on us, and obviously he stepped to us, at this point we just need to be faking for precog, right? And after we fake for precog, that's when we press dots on everything and we get everything rotting so that we can better secure a win here, because it looks like we're really struggling with getting our damage rotation down. So we need to really focus on, instead of getting corruption and agony on the targets, because like when you do that, it feels like there's so much button bloat where you're just sitting there and nothing's rotting, nothing's dying, nothing's happening. You need to literally just start sending UA and start getting raptures up after you get your UAs. It's very important that you do that, and once you start doing that, you're going to notice you have a lot more free globals because you already have your damage set up for you and everything's like ready. So in the future, that's one thing you guys need to work on together. Well, that's one thing you need to work on, making sure your dot rotation is a lot more smooth, a lot more clean. And then as a team, your rogue needs to make sure he's proactively calling out his kidney shot. He's like, next 5 seconds, I'm going to kidney shot this guy. So you're ready to support him with a fear on an off target, with full dots on the kill target. And then for your healer, the most important thing that he can do is start calling his cooldowns more, what's it called, assertively. Your healer needs to be a lot more assertive with when you're in trouble versus when you're not in trouble. And even if it's a bad call, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as you're saying it and you're being assertive with it, the next time that the danger happens, it's going to feel a lot more comfortable. And every time you do it, it's going to get better and better. So that's it for this video, guys. And thank you all for watching. More videos to come in the future. I do stream on twitch.tv/FazeDoritos. Don't forget to check me out there. Anyways, boys, catch y'all later. Peace.